Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 2024 IEEE International Conference on Smart Information Systems and Technologies.
We are glad to see all of you at Astana IT University, one of the best IT universities in Kazakhstan. Today, despite its short period of activity, Astana IT University has become a center of competence in digitalizing the country's economy and a leader in continuous IT education and science. It serves as an attractive hub for advanced young Kazakhstani individuals and an intellectual cluster in the field of information and communication technologies.
Since its inception, Astana IT University scientists have successfully implemented over 58 scientific projects, with a total funding exceeding 3 billion tenge. For a welcome speech, we'd like to invite Vice Rector for Science and Innovations, Doctor of Technical Sciences, Professor at Astana IT University, Mr. Andriy Belashitsky, to come on stage.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, уважаемые гости, уважаемые коллеги. Хотел бы поприветствовать всех участников конференции. У нас запланировано трехдневное участие в конференции, плюс приуроченное к юбилею нашего университета. И хотел бы обозначить ряд процессов, которые помогли нам запустить наше мероприятие, нашу конференцию. Конференция проводится уже 4-й год. В этом году у нас был ряд мероприятий, посвященных к конференции. Это создание чаптера, это создание ряда активностей, которые помогли нам запустить данную конференцию. И хотел бы обозначить, что за 4 года конференция становится максимально популярной, и каждый год у нас активности становится все больше, участников стран тоже больше. В этом году у нас участвует 18 стран. И хотел бы обозначить, что первый год у нас было всего лишь 200 докладов, в этом году уже 286, то есть реально 262, прошу прощения, 262, и это говорит о том, что конференция начинает набирать обороты в прогрессии, да, и это радует, потому что активности зарубежных наших партнеров, активности ученых из Казахстана максимально увеличивается. И хотел бы обозначить, что данная конференция проводится в казахстанском вузе под эгидой IEEE, и это единственная пока конференция, которая проводится под эгидой IEEE. И мы для того, чтобы популяризировать направления инженерии, создание направлений, которые были бы интересны IT-направленности, искусственному интеллекту, мы для этого создали ряд мероприятий, которые позволили нам провести данную конференцию. Первое, это то, что хотелось бы обозначить, это мы создали чаптер, куда вошли казахстанские ученые для участия. Также мы создали студбранч, это сообщество, которое в этом году, в мае, провела первую студенческую IEEE конференцию под эгидой IEEE. и полностью организованную студентами. То есть студенты ее организовали, провели, где принимали участие известные ученые Казахстана, активно принимали участие студенты с разных вузов и стран, и это тоже очень радует. Она была первой в этом году, надеюсь, она будет продолжать свои активности. В этом году мы впервые утвердили нашу конференцию на 5 лет, то есть она будет ежегодной. Утвердили план не каждый год отдельно, как было ранее, а в этом году мы 5-летний план прям прописали, и наши гости из президент IEEE секции 8 региона, президент, вернее, IEEE 8 региона, он у нас в гостях, он сейчас должен у нас прийти, будет у него отдельный доклад. Планируем создать совместно с сообществом ученым Казахстана секцию, так как сегодня в Казахстане IEEE представлена только как сабсекция. И это тоже мы планируем, чтобы в Казахстане это направление развивалось, и благодаря данной конференции мы надеемся, что эти активности у нас пройдут. Также хотел бы пожелать всем участникам конференции, секционных докладов, интересных дискуссий, интересных докладов. И уверен, что данная конференция пройдет в интересных диалогах и интересных презентациях. Всем всего наилучшего. Уверен, что конференция всем понравится, доклады будут очень интересные. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Belashitsky, for emphasizing the significance of this conference and for encouraging words to our participants.
The Ministry of Science and Higher Education of the Republic of Kazakhstan pays great attention to the development of the science in the country. Efforts and underways elevate the status of scientists, doubling their salaries. Additionally, 881 grants have been allocated to young researchers and postdoctoral fellows. Engaging in scientific ambitions is prestigious, and this trend is expected to continue each year. Allow me to read out a welcome speech on behalf of the Vice Minister of the Ministry of Science and Higher Education, Ahmed Zaki Darhan Jumakanovich. Уважаемые участники и гости, приветствую вас на Международной научно-практической конференции 2024 IEEE International Conference on Smart Information Systems and Technologies. Это уже 4-я научная конференция, проводимая под эгидой IEEE в стенах казахстанского вуза. И каждый год зарубежных участников становится пропорционально больше. Так, в первый год было подано чуть больше 100 докладов, второй и третий год – 200. Четвертый год уже почти 300 докладов, что говорит об интересе к данному мероприятию. Уверен, что данная конференция, проводимая при поддержке Министерства образования и науки Республики Казахстан, является значимым событием в интеллектуальной среде нашей страны. Научный потенциал является важнейшим ресурсом устойчивого и безопасного развития и одним из факторов, определяющих перспективы любой страны. Задача по вхождению в число 30 наиболее развитых государств мира требует развития отечественной науки. Министерство науки и высшего образования со своей стороны принимает комплексные меры по дальнейшему развитию казахстанской науки. Финансирование науки из бюджета в последние 2 года увеличилось почти вдвое. К 2025 году финансирование науки планируется увеличить до 1% от ВВП. Это станет большим толчком для развития отечественной науки. В соответствии с новыми поправками в закон о науке ежегодно выделяются 50 премий для лучших научных работников. При поддержке главы государства Токаева открыта новая бюджетная программа по модернизации и укреплению базы научных организаций МОН. Благодаря этому 23 вуза приобрели лабораторное оборудование. В центре нашего внимания меры по цифровизации науки и сокращению отчетности для ученых. Подача заявок для получения финансирования, сдача промежуточных и итоговых отчетов полностью переводится в цифровой формат. Также разрабатывается открытая база всех проектов, профинансированных государством с указанием целей гранта или программы, суммы финансирования, результатов, этапов внесения изменений в первоначальную заявку и отчеты. Цель цифровизации – обеспечение полной прозрачности процесса распределения использования и результативности выделяемых на науку государственных средств. Уверен, что общение в рамках конференции будет способствовать раскрытию потенциала молодых специалистов IT-отрасли, поиску новых идей и решений, а также укреплению партнерских отношений между университетами и крупнейшими отраслевыми компаниями. Желаю всем участникам конференции плодотворной работы, творческой, результативной дискуссии, активности, оптимизма и приобретения новых контактов. Всем крепкого здоровья, благополучия и новых научных свершений. Вице-министр Министерства науки и высшего образования, доктор технических наук, профессор Дархан Жумаканович Ахмедзаки.
The implementation of scientific projects is always a collaborative effort. It involves the contributions of many talented individuals who pool their knowledge, skills, and passion for discoveries to make the world better and more interesting. The Nazarbayev University Innovation Cluster has transformed into a unique platform that brings together entrepreneurs, researchers, professors, students, investors, companies, and organizations from Kazakhstan and other parts of the world. For a welcome speech, we would like to invite to the stage Dr. Chester Yablonsky, who serves as the Vice Provost for Research of Nazarbayev University.
Carlitan, Доброе утро, good morning to our distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, and fellow researchers. I'm Chet Yablonsky, Vice Provost at Nazarbayev University for Research. And on behalf of Nazarbayev University, Acting President and Provost Islami Adesida, who unfortunately can't be with us this morning, I bring greetings from all my colleagues at Nazarbayev University, and it is my great honor to warmly welcome every excited mind in this room, participating both digitally across the time zones and here in person, to the 2024 IEEE 4th International Conference on Smart Information Systems and Technologies. Back in the day, and for me, this was many, many years ago, in my research life, I was a chemist, and that didn't present much space to interact with engineers. So this is actually my first opportunity to participate in an IEEE conference, although I've heard about them for many, many years. A review of the range of research that will be shared at this conference shows just how much things have changed in all those years. Now in a digital world, we take smart everything for granted. Smart information systems and technologies now impact every facet of our lives. As citizens, we have grown to implicitly trust and rely on the value-added research accomplished by the great researchers in this room and who are developing now to come in the future. And those researchers are expected to deliver the technology needed to improve the public good. That trust in our research requires a cautionary note. It's obvious from the dizzying pace of development of AI in particular, that it will permeate our lives and transform every facet of what we do. It should therefore be clear that ethical awareness in smart systems, information, and technology development and especially generative AI research matters more than ever. As researchers, we are acutely aware that the dangers that inappropriate use of smart technology can create, and we are increasingly on guard in that dimension. It's both an imperative and our innate responsibility as ethical researchers to maintain a keen balance between technological advance and research integrity. I think that's a message we can all live by, and a principle that research mentors should instill in their students from day one. It's only then, when the ethical risks of research in these areas are effectively managed, that humans will comfortably survive and thrive in the new digital world. A tour through the conference proceedings and the program is really endlessly fascinating for me. will be treated over the next 3 days to research that goes beyond the algorithms and beyond the data sets to demonstrate real-world applications that have the potential to profoundly impact the lives of individuals and the communities that we live in. The research in this conference will feed our intellectual curiosity by showing us how smart information systems and technologies will innovatively shape our digital world. Over the next 3 days, we'll learn how SIST research will help us as humans to analyze huge unstructured data sets, to improve our business methods, to deliver better healthcare, to share our different cultures, to build better and safer cities, and make effective learning and teaching more accessible to all. We even have presentations that will help us discover better ways to find research collaborators. This is a place where we hope you'll be able to expand your research network and find collaborators to help you do even better and more research. We also will find presentations that will introduce the Kazakh language to speech recognition and prepare it for wider use in the search engines and other digital applications that we now have come to depend on. I should like to close by thanking my colleagues at Astana IT University for organizing this splendid conference that will capture our imagination and connect us to the technology of the digital future. Finally, a special welcome to our guests from abroad. I hope this experience will feed your intellectual curiosity and build your research networks. Enjoy your stay in Astana. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Yablonsky, for your welcome speech. At the heart of scientific progress lies the diligent research work of scientists. Creativity, innovations, knowledge, and dedication to science are the key qualities that must be instilled in the younger generation of researchers. The National Academy of Sciences of Kazakhstan has been devoted to this mission for many years. We are pleased to invite Mr. Dos Sarbasov, Vice President of the National Academy of Sciences of the Republic of Kazakhstan, under the President of the Republic of Kazakhstan, CEO of National Laboratory Astana.
Қайырлы таң, қош келдіңіздер. Бүгінгі ақыл систем технология симпозиумы ашылғаны құттықтаймыз. Көп рахмет, қош келдіңіздер. Thank you very much for coming. An invitation of, and I'm as a member of Academy of Sciences and the Vice President of Academy of Sciences, really greatly appreciate for your invitation. Can you hear me well? Hello, hello. So it's great to be here today. And first of all, I would like to congratulate you with the 5th year of anniversary of the university, IT University. And during introduction, it was mentioned that it's one of the top. I would like to say it is the top IT University of Kazakhstan. And it's truly, today is also a very big event. It's a 4th conference of International Conference on Smart Information Systems and Technologies. And it is actually co-organized with also where National Academy of Sciences is also co-organizer of this event. And I would like to thank you for organizers and of this conference, and that is sponsored by public foundation and Nursultan Nazarbayev fund as well. So it's first of all, I would like to, when I look at the list of the participants, it's truly international conference, and I would like to really acknowledge and really welcome our guests from Ukraine, Kyiv. Thank you very much for coming. And it's guests from Asia and Europe as well, but particular guests from Ukraine are greatly appreciated. Today, I would like to just mark, I'm actually by myself, I'm a biologist by training, so I'm not IT person, but I would like to tell you that IT technologies and AI systems are actually becoming our new environment. And I think the major task for Kazakhstan, how we can get there. So I was supposed to show you some slides about how $1 billion growth of IT AI systems, but I think you truly understand that area is also very critical, and I would like to say it's instrumental for development of Kazakhstan's economy, and you will be major players in for our future, in development of our future. So I would like you to be more proactive and learn as much as you can, because country needs you, and particularly your knowledge will be very important for development. For every system from I understand that, as I mentioned, I'm a biologist by itself, but I would like to say that in biology even itself, that there is a major breakthrough. We call it bioinformaticians. Bioinformatics field is very important to understand how human genome works and how we can how it can be really truly important to improving our healthcare. It's called through personalized medicine, and it's understanding how 3 billion base pairs of human genome can develop into to understand how our organism works. I think it's a major task, and if there is any interest in getting to the biology field, please welcome, and we are just across the street, and you can visit anytime National Laboratory Astana. And we have one of the most advanced genomics and bioinformatic platform in the country. And it's really one of the major area to move on. And I'm just, but I would like to really say that, of course, innovations depends on you, and smart systems and AI systems are something that we are looking forward to. And I think it's this university will be critical, and to getting many more scientists or more young researchers get into this field. And we actually would like to see more of your graduates to come to our industrial sector and move on. But I think we have to first of all develop infrastructure. And I think things are coming. And as you just mentioned today, industry is really looking for highly competitive edge. And only you, by introducing smart system to economy of Kazakhstan, will contribute substantially to development of the country, as I mentioned again. And I would like to also mention that there are many areas where your knowledge will be highly demanding, and it's particular also cybersecurity, and that's one of the areas that I think it's we still have to learn a lot. And I would like you to really draw attention that cybersecurity is one of the gaps that are that will our independence will be determined by how secure we are from in cybernet. With that, I would like to also again congratulate you with your major event today. It's fourth International Conference on Smart Information Systems and Technologies. And I wish you a very productive conference, and welcome, and conference құтты болсын. Көп рахмет.
Thank you so much. So now we are moving to the plenary presentations. Please give a warm welcome to our first speaker, El-Haj Ben Khalifa, PhD, professor at Staffordshire University. He will present the topic, Cloud Data Governance. I don't mean data management. Please welcome.
Okay. The moving slides, this one. Okay, great. Okay, good morning, everyone. It's my great pleasure to be here today, my first time in Kazakhstan. I would like to thank the organizers for the conference, a great conference, and I think very successful conference looking at the program. I would like also to mention special thanks to a special guest for me. Yes, I'm here to represent my university in the UK, but also I'm a proud Algerian citizen. And I would like to thank His Excellency, Mr. the Ambassador of Algeria in Kazakhstan, for leaving all his busy schedule to come and attend my talk and this conference. Thank you. Also, I would like to say that I was lucky to come to Kazakhstan first time, but a couple of days before the conference. And it was an immense pleasure to experience a glimpse of a rich kind of history and culture. And please allow me to actually share that experience with you with wearing this Kazakh. Right. So today I'm going to actually talk about a very important topic. Okay. When you talk about data, okay, then governance comes into place. People actually, this is why the title of the talk is data governance, not management. A lot of people confuse governance with management. And I hope by the end of this talk, we can actually differentiate between governance and management, and also to put more emphasis on the importance of governance. So if you search the internet, you'll find a lot of answers around why governance is important. And you can see that governance, even if you apply an AI techniques or solutions for your data, governance is important. If you apply in any analytics, any business intelligence, any decision-making, governance is very important. So you can see the importance of data governance here can be actually linked to data quality and trust, regulatory compliance, efficiency and productivity, data security. There was a mention about the importance of cybersecurity here. I'm going to actually mention a little bit about it in my slides. Decision-making, data stewardship or ownership. Who owns the data? We are generating tons and tons of data. Who owns it? Risk mitigation, innovation, competitiveness, customer satisfaction, and so on. Those are all reasons to why data governance is very important. However, if you look at some of the statistics, we are still really behind. When you look into data governance in organizations, they are usually a set of regulations, okay? While in our opinion, from the IT perspective, we think it's actually an integral part of your IT and corporate governance. So you can see only 3% of data in business enterprise meet the quality standards. 27% of data in the world top companies is flawed. 73% of data in organizations is never successfully used. And most importantly, 84% of digital transformation initiatives in business enterprise fail because of lack of data governance. There's a huge importance there. The global data governance as a market is growing, expected to grow from $4.4 billion in only North America only, yeah, in 2024 to almost $20 billion. And I think the number is quite modest. I think it's going to grow even bigger than that. So I think the reality here is adoption is still very low in data governance. Yes, we talk about it, but I think there are a lot of statistics around that many organizations, the majority of organizations, they don't actually have a data governance framework or data governance program. We are also increasingly adopting the cloud technologies. And obviously cloud computing brings new dimensions to data governance, because your data is no longer in your own computers, in your own infrastructure. It is hosted by third party. And that's actually what I'm going to talk about. This is pioneering work that we have developed in our research center in Staffordshire University to look into the concept or the aspect of data governance in cloud environment. So when you look into the cloud computing, when at the initial start of cloud computing, 2007, 2008, 2009, when you type the challenges of cloud computing, usually security comes at the top. Okay, but that's no longer the case. You can see security in cloud computing here is maybe the 5th or maybe the 3rd in the rank of importance. Governance now becomes more important than security, because if you have an effective data governance program, you're eliminating a vast majority of security problems. And if you have security problems, you have all the means to identify where it is and who owns it. So governance is becoming very important with emerging technologies. A data governance program built, again, this is a difference between data governance on-premise infrastructure and data governance on cloud. As I mentioned, the cloud brings more complexities, brings more dimensions because it's hosted by third party. So it's not the same. You cannot apply your data governance program on your own on-premise kind of data governance program to your cloud kind of environment. And these are some of the dimensions added. So this is on the right-hand side here, this is the traditional cloud data governance in on-premise infrastructure. And you can see in the cloud environment, there are actually extra dimensions which add more complexity to the actual, to developing the program. There are some barriers to data governance, okay? In fact, one of the main barriers to the wider adoption of the cloud computing has been primarily related to cloud data governance. So a lot of people, they're not actually adopting cloud computing because they don't have a clear vision for data governance. And also, based on that paper there, while security has been shown to be the most cited challenge of cloud adoption, which is true, okay? 41% of security problems in the cloud are related to governance. Basically, more secure. If you don't have a cloud data governance program, you're going to hit more challenges when it comes to cybersecurity. And here I'm going to open a bracket and talk about the cybersecurity challenge. So these are some statistics in terms of the cybersecurity challenge that we're facing these days. More than 2 billion data breaches happened only in January 2019. And the number is growing year on year, by the way. Look at how much we are losing every year, $60 trillion between 2022 and 23 in cybersecurity breaches. And the numbers, as I mentioned, are growing year on year. In the first quarter 2021, there was an increase of 102% in cyber crimes. 92% of malware is delivered by email. So 92% of problems is a human error, is my error and your error because we click on those phishing emails, for instance. So the problem of cybersecurity is growing despite 4 decades of research, 4 decades of trying to secure our systems. Does it not mean that we have failed as a community to secure our systems? Yes, we have failed. And in my opinion, we have failed for several reasons. So this is why whenever I give a talk about cybersecurity, I will say nobody is behind the curve. We are all in the same line and we can all exceed, but we have to collaborate. If we cannot collaborate on many things, cybersecurity is one of the things that we have to collaborate on because we have actually to secure our own citizens and borders. So in my opinion, from my own experience, the reasons to why we are actually not, we are failing to secure our systems are linked to many areas. One of them is the increased complexity of the cyberspace. Okay, I'm going to show you some statistics there. Less investment in security. If you want cybersecurity to work, we have to invest. Okay, and I invite the Kazakhstan, maybe the funding agencies, to put more investment in cybersecurity since it's one of the priorities of the country. Lack of qualified cybersecurity workforce. Despite that we have now many programs in cybersecurity, but we're still in shortage of cybersecurity workforce. Look at we always think about complex attacks means complex solution. Not always the case. You can actually have very simple solution for a complex problem. The human factor, 90% of the problem is linked to the human factor. While many of us focus on systems and technologies, the problem is in the human, okay? How many of you here use their birthday as their password? How many of you here use the same password to multiple accounts? So this is all human errors. How many of you in the library working as students, you leave your system on while you go and grab a drink, okay? There's all those human kind of errors that we tend to create some vulnerabilities. Insufficient collaboration, as I mentioned, cybersecurity is one of the things that we should collaborate on, okay? Even across borders. And you can see on the chart, the top chart, it says the percentage of where the problem is. You can see systems, which is the technical solutions, only 18% of the problem. education and awareness, because it's part of the human, is almost 75% of the problem. So I think we need to increase awareness and education around cybersecurity. Also, many laboratories or industries, when they look into cybersecurity, they may focus only in technology. Let's build more stronger firewalls. Let's build this stronger intrusion detection system. As I mentioned, the systems only make 80% of the problem. We have to look at the holistic approach: technology, process, and people. And the focus of this presentation is on the process, an aspect of the process, which is governance. And the last chart here, if we are developing security solutions, we should not focus on building stronger firewalls. We should build resilient systems, because in my opinion, we can never secure any system 100%. There's always ways to get into your systems. Therefore, how can you build your system to be resilient to attacks, so they can actually recover some of your data while being attacked? And this is a shocking kind of, this is the Jan 2024 kind of statistics as of how much we are connected to the digital cyberspace. But the shocking number, the thing in Kazakhstan, look, there are almost 20 million people, 26 active mobile users, okay? So this shows how active this country and multiple countries in the digital space. And this actually adds more complexity to the cybersecurity problem. So this is just another statistic to show that we are behind when it comes to data governance. Most data, we've done extensive research around this, and I would love to collaborate with colleagues here to do maybe a survey in Kazakhstan or Central Asia to understand how much data governance has been implemented. And you would be all shocked. There will be very low kind of adoption of data governance programs in different countries. So these are some of the barriers to why cloud data governance has some obstacles for adoption, including financial, functional barrier, human barrier, cultural barrier. And if you again look at some statistics and some surveys, the cultural barrier is the biggest issue, is the mindset of the leaderships. Is very, very important. That's actually what makes us a little bit behind when it comes to data governance. So there are multiple definitions of data governance. It's another issue. Every organization, every institution have their own definition, as the next table shows. And IBM will have its own definition. The Data Governance Institute have its own definition. There's no standard definition even to start with when it comes to data governance. And when we talk about governance in general, the known approach is to start from corporate governance, then information governance, then IT governance, then data governance. I think this is wrong now. This is no longer the case. If we are claiming to be the data-driven economy, everything should start from data. Yeah? So it has to be data governance first. You need to realize and recognize what data you have, the importance of your data, make the governance, then you go into IT governance. So you develop the adequate infrastructure for your data governance, then to information governance, then you develop your corporate governance. That should be the other way around, but that's not the case at the moment. So data governance, in my thinking, is not data management, okay? Is the policies, procedures, standards, and rules to manage data. That actually can think of how to manage my data. And this is where the trick here when it comes to cloud computing, because the data is not managed by you, is managed by a third party, the cloud provider. And this is a review that we have done in terms of research. There is very little research in data governance, okay, in cloud data governance. There's little bit in data governance in general, but if you look into cloud data governance, there is very little research. Now we started looking into data governance in autonomous cars. There is no work in this area at all. Okay, imagine having all these cars running on the roads without drivers, and the data, we don't know who owns the data, who is liable, where is the data, how is the data being communicated. So the importance of data governance, autonomous cars becomes highly important. So those are all the graph shows the number of publications in the domain of data governance in the cloud. And there are only 11 at that time that we did the survey, 11 papers that talk about initial kind of thinking about cloud data governance, but there's no implementation. This is a data governance framework from the Data Governance Institute. Very simplistic kind of approach, not for cloud. This is for traditional systems. Then recently, this is a developed version of it, again, non-cloud environment. IBM had also a very simple process for data governance, which was an old version. Now this is an improved version. Only recently, 2023, they have introduced a data governance, but again, not cloud environment, for on-premise data environment. So what we're talking about here is there is still a lack of cloud data governance, despite the fact that we are all going to the cloud. Okay, all organizations actually will have presence in the cloud. And what we have developed, because we do realize that you can never, there's no one size fits all for data governance. Not one size, you cannot build one program for all organizations. Different organizations will have different priorities, different requirements. Okay, so what we have developed as a pioneering work that we haven't even published, but I had the pleasure to present it here, and I would like to talk to colleagues and maybe practitioners to see how we can take this strategy forward. So we came up with what we call a data governance strategy, okay, from which you can derive programs that suit your own requirement for your own organization. Okay, so the strategy actually looks into developing the Cloud Data Governance Office. Here, the office will not have only the director and the IT director and the data stewards, because you have the cloud environment. So there's the cloud provider, the cloud auditor, the cloud broker. These are all stakeholders in your office. The office will have a structure, communication kind of protocol, and roles and responsibilities. Very, very important. So data governance is not about, this is how you should manage my data. Data governance should actually follow this strategy. Then this strategy shows how to initiate, okay, design, deploy, sustain, and monitor a data governance program. So it's a full kind of package, looking into, so the policies, principles, process, and standards for what? For accountability, for compliance, for transformation, integration, management, auditability, and others. Then you have to look into different contexts for your governance. The contextual context, the cloud, is it software as a service? Is it a platform as a service? Is it infrastructure as a service? They have different kind of requirements. Is it public cloud? Is it private cloud? Is it a hybrid cloud? And then look into the contextual context between the agreement, the service level agreement that actually happens between the consumer and the cloud provider. And then how to deploy it, how to sustain, and how to monitor. This is a strategy from which you can develop, and this is very complex, by the way, okay? This is an overall strategy. This is an example of a policy, okay, to do with data protection. And I mentioned here that we talk about policies. Sorry, we're talking about policies, principles, process, and standards. And this is just an example of one policy, which is not even extensive. So it's quite a complex area. Then when it comes to GDPR, again, GDPR, it could be one of the barriers, okay, of cloud adoption. At the same time, GDPR is general data protection regulations. It's forcing our organizations to think about data governance, although it focuses only on the data protection side, which is an important aspect of data governance. And you can see that now if you're adopting the cloud, you have to make sure that the cloud provider and whoever is involved as a stakeholder in the provision of the cloud, they have to comply with GDPR, okay? And therefore, they have to have a data governance in place, okay? And then we have, from a strategy, what we have done, we have built what we call a maturity model, a tool that can help you assess the state of your data governance maturity level in your organization, okay? And then it does the assessment based on those dimensions, 9 dimensions, the office, remember these are all derived from the strategy. Are you compliant to your data governance program or not? That's what the tool is about. So it does the assessment first, then it becomes more of a recommendation system. If you would like to go to a higher maturity level, you have to do such and such. So this is a maturity model, just an example of how it can be applied. And then we built a tool to support it. Again, this is an internal audit for your organization. Are you complying with your data governance program or not? And it will tell you which level. It gives you some statements. You can select your answers, and then it gives you a score. In this dimension, in the data governance office, you are level 2, for instance. In the cloud data governance functions, you are level 3, for instance. Okay. And then it tells you Then if you would like to go from level 1 to 2 or 3 to 4, whatever, in terms of maturity level, this becomes a recommendation system, okay? Well, if you are in this dimension, you are level 2. If you want to go to 3, you have to invest, you have to buy, you have to bring stuff, things like that, okay? And these are some of the publications that we have published only in the area of data governance, and we still are actually very active in this area. As I mentioned, we're still working on the cloud data governance, but we move into autonomous cars, data governance in autonomous cars. And I end my talk with this a quote from a famous kind of scholar. Data is the lifeblood of every organization, but without effective governance, it becomes a liability rather than an asset. Just as a ship needs a captain to navigate safely through stormy waters, an organization needs data governance to steer through the complexities of the digital age. Can anybody guess who is behind this quote? Is a famous, very famous scholar. ChatGPT. So I've asked ChatGPT about the importance of the to give me a quote, and that's what it gave me. So it's quite spot on. So with this, I would like to thank you for your attention, and I hope you find it useful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ben Khalifa, for your interesting presentation. I'd like to note that 2024 International Conference on Smart Information Systems and Technologies is dedicated to the 5th anniversary of Astana IT University and the 125th anniversary of academician Kanish Imatayolu Satpayev. I too thanks IEEE, IEEE Kazakhstan section, IEEE Ukraine section, the Ministry of Science and Higher Education, Ministry of Digital Development, Innovations and Aerospace Industry of the Republic of Kazakhstan, the National Academy of Science of the Republic of Kazakhstan, International IT University for their support in holding the conference. Our next speakers, Professor Lin Tian, PhD, from the University of Electronic Science and Technology of China.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Lin Tian from School of Computer Science and Engineering, University of Electronic Science and Technology of China. Actually, this is not my first time to Astana IT University. Okay, it's my honor to be here. I want to share the research of our lab, and the topic is about knowledge hypergraphs and the reasoning for smart systems. Thanks for the invitation. Okay. Firstly, I want to introduce the research background and the related concepts. As we can see, in the past, the trend of AI was from computation to perception. And the statistical learning method driven by big data has preliminarily achieved perception for text, images, objects, and voices. Currently, AI is moving from perception to cognition. Reasoning and decision-making and generating are very crucial to future AI. As we can see in this figure, the development of large language model attracts increasing research attention. For example, this is the OpenAI's GPT series model. We can take this as an example. The development and iteration occur at an exceptional fast pace. So this topic about the knowledge graph, knowledge hypergraph of our laboratory. But what is knowledge graph? As we can see, knowledge graph is a semantic network. So basically, it's a semantic graph, which can organize entities, relationships, and facts, triples in a structured manner, facilitating efficient retrieval and intelligent reasoning. There are some well-known open source knowledge graphs, such as Google, Freebase, Wikidata. So we can see in this figure on the right, Da Vinci, the entity Da Vinci and the Mona Lisa, two entities, they have a relationship. So we can get a triplet like this, the left side, Da Vinci painted Mona Lisa. We can extract the triplet from this figure. Okay, also knowledge graph could be a very important part for smart system by managing big data instead of traditional knowledge database. We can use knowledge graph. So based on that, our laboratory proposes the knowledge hypergraph, which is a variant of knowledge graph. It relies on the hyperedges, which contains a set of interacting nodes. For example, you can see the left below, there is a circle, the yellow area, you can see there are five nodes in this circle. V1, E1, V2, E2, and V3. We can use one relationship, R1, to connect all the nodes together. Unlike the traditional triplet, it can describe more complex relations in real world in a very simple way. We can see the right side is the knowledge hypergraph. We just proposed it. So second part, I want to introduce the knowledge hypergraph, the features and how to use it for knowledge reasoning. As we know, perception, reasoning, and prediction are indispensable functions for smart system. It faces several challenges. For example, massive data sources and meteoric trend changes and multi-influence factors here. So knowledge hypergraph is a potential solution to improve perceptual ability, reasoning efficiency, and prediction accuracy. Consequently, the decision-making ability of intelligent system could be enhanced. The video shows the platform in our laboratory. We just developed all the knowledge hypergraph into this platform. And later, I want to introduce how to use it. And the features of the hyper-knowledge graph platform, it can enhance perceptual ability, improve reasoning efficiency, and prediction accuracy. Also, it can be used in the decision-making of smart systems. So to handle large amount of the data and the weak correlation, we propose a 3-layer pyramid representation model. It can efficiently organize massive intelligence data, explicitly reveal spatial and temporal relationships, and finally achieve fast knowledge update. As shown in the comparison figures, the left side is traditional knowledge graph. For example, on the left, there are 5 nodes. And if we want to connect those 5 nodes, we need how many edges? We need 10 edges, right? But in the knowledge hypergraph, in the second layer, concept layer, if we want to connect those nodes, we need only 1 edge, okay, just like a circle. So in that case, we can express it to the spatial and the temporal relationships and the fast knowledge update and reasoning. Actually, based on our computation, this model can reduce the reasoning type complexity from quadratical to linear, okay. You can find more details about this model in our published paper here. Next, I want to introduce the link prediction. Link prediction aims to predict missing entities or relationships based on existing facts. We propose a model to learn dynamic relation for link prediction in knowledge hypergraphs. It includes 2 steps. First is about the position encoding. We just use the positional encoding to inform the relative position to each entities. And the second is about the hyperrelation and entity learning. We just use message parsing to aggregate neighborhood information to update relationships and the entities. We also use the entities within a hyperrelation to dynamically update hyperrelation representations. This figure shows the structure of the message passing process. Step 1, the hyperrelation R1 aggregates the information of entities A, B, C, and D to dynamically update R1. Step 2, entity A aggregates the relationships R1, R2, and R3 of the neighborhood so that the entity A captures all the topological and semantic informations. Our performance has improved as the complexity of a knowledge hypergraph increases. That means if the nodes in the knowledge graph is increasing, the performs better in that case, okay? More details about the model you can find in our published paper, which is accepted by Applied Intelligence here. To address complex knowledge-based question answering, we develop a structured information stream model. It distinguishes the relevance between reasoning paths and question structures. We also propose an effective type assist reward to elevate the sparse reward problems. Okay, for the third part, I will introduce the application of knowledge hypergraphs for smart system. Knowledge hypergraph could be applied to many scenarios of smart systems. For example, finance, medicine, defense, agriculture, government services, telecommunications. The key motivation is how to inject expert knowledge into the algorithm or the system. For example, in the task of object detection, we integrate knowledge graph-based representation to achieve acute image detection. Moreover, we use a path-finding graph neural network to achieve knowledge reasoning and introduce the semi-rank method to achieve precise semantic alignment. Compared to the baseline model, the average accuracy across all classes is improved. So this paper is accepted by neural computing. Based on Turing computability and prediction error tolerability, we propose a uniform event predictability model regarding the well-known unpredictable events in non-deterministic systems. We check this, there are two forms of event predictability. We check verify this model in two scenarios. The first is the black swan and the third is green rhino. And we have already verified the both of them. Okay, then I will introduce how to use this model. All the events could be classified into 4 types: stationary mixing, the first one, stationary non-mixing, the second one, and non-stationary mixing or non-stationary non-mixing. As we can see, there are several examples. For example, the weather forecast, inundation, flooding, stock price, and armed conflict. So we decompose this difficult predictability discrimination of non-stationary and non-mixed events into the accumulation of computational factor over times, which are breakthrough constraints of the predictable events. This work, you can find the model detail in the published paper below here. And then in practice, this work, I want to introduce the incorporating local and global event context. This work focuses on continuous time event prediction. All history local contexts are aggregated sequentially with a GRU in incorporate global and local history information. Oh, sorry. In practice, the encoded local and global information can be integrated with temporal knowledge graphs to enrich event semantics. By aggregating the neighborhood of the corresponding event knowledge subgraph, a comprehensive history embedding can be obtained, which is then used to approximate the joint distribution of the time and the type of the next event occurrence. This paper, you can find the algorithm in information sciences. Knowledge hypergraph can also be used in path planning for UAV by building an interpretable reasoning platform based on knowledge hypergraph, assisting in resource allocation of UVAs in ultra-dense networks and facilitating automatic reasoning and decision-making of UVAs. This video shows we choose 4 UVAs we just adopted the knowledge hypergraph to get the path planning for 4 UVAs in the metropolitan. In the field of 5th generation, 5G, knowledge hypergraph can perform automated 5G network management and task configuration work. Specifically, it can effectively support the network data analysis function in the 5G core network. The next scenario is about the big data processing. Knowledge hypergraph also could be integrated data and optimize the process of the capturing data value in terms of the data aggregation and fusion, unstructured data processing, causal relations mining. To empower smart city, we can use knowledge hypergraphs to organize various IoT devices, urban components, integrate city-level big data into smart hub of city. The next scenario is about the federated learning here. Motivated by issues from data privacy and data access rights, federated learning is a promising solution. Personalized federated learning trains global shared models on heterogeneous data through personalized global models and solve the challenges of personalized solution by learning personalized patterns. This work, we just finished this work with Astana IT University with Naxhad Zakiev. This work is actually accepted by WASA 2024. Here in our joint work with IT University, we propose a strategy to enhance both performance and device fairness without compromising the accuracy here. Finally, I will talk about the challenge and the future of smart system. Traditional intelligent systems mainly focus on large-scale scenarios, such as single application node, simple knowledge application, large-scale user data. In the future, more emphasis will be placed on small-scale scenarios, such as deep knowledge application, intensive expert knowledge, and limited data resources. As we know, large language models has demonstrated versatile abilities in reasoning, tool usage, planning. Therefore, we reveal the potential of utilize large language model to enhance the cognitive ability of smart systems, including external planner, reflection, selection, decomposition, and memory. In particular, generative artificial intelligence, holds enormous potential to revolutionize the various smart systems, for example, in healthcare, monitoring, autonomous, industrial IoT, and smart devices. At last, I will give a brief summary. We derived three-layer knowledge hypergraph, which could be applied in many aspects of smart systems in the future. My group and the teams in I2 will collaborate on various projects. Currently, members from both teams frequently communicated. In the future, we will continue to deepen our cooperation. Thanks. We want to appreciate the invitation and the organization of the conference committee. Thanks again.
So thank you, Professor Lin Qiang, for your performance. It was great. So Astana IT University expresses special thanks to the rector Askar Kusubegovich Hikmetov, as well as the entire team of the International University of Information Technologies for their active participation and organization of this conference. Our next speaker is going to talk about managing the digital transformation with maturity models. So let's get ready to learn and be inspired. Please welcome Carsten Wolf, Doctor of Engineering and Professor of Computer Sciences at Dortmund University of Applied Sciences and Arts, also known as the Director of the Institute for the Digital Transformation of Application and Living Domains in Dortmund, Germany.
Yeah, thank you very much for the invitation. Apart from being a member of Dortmund University of Applied Science and Arts, I also had the honor to be in the founding team of Astana IT University. I also know International IT University for a long time, so I'm happy to be here again. I want to give a short introduction in some research fields that we are doing in Dortmund. If you're talking about the digital transformation as a big holistic trend, then it's also a question how to manage this and how to manage this out of the viewpoint of project management. So one of the areas we are doing is project management. Also here in Astana IT University, this is a topic, and in International IT University. And that is my topic for today. A brief introduction about Dortmund. So Dortmund is in the west of Germany, the former industrial heartland of Germany, where there was steel and coal mining industry. And meanwhile, this is gone. So we have, meanwhile, a technology industry landscape, also with IT industries and so on. And my university, it's called a Fachhochschule, an FH, or a University of Applied Sciences. We are one of the 10 largest in Germany. And a specifically interesting thing is that we have a big faculty in computer science with more than 3,000 students. So that's maybe the basis for the collaboration. Dortmund is famous for football. So some people know BVB Football Club, now going to the Champions League finals. And it's also famous for beer. This forms this belly here. So it's that is shaping Dortmund. I'm director of an institute called the Institute for the Digital Transformation of Application and Living Domains. Our focus is the embedded systems, edge, cloud, AI continuum, so technology point of view, but we also look at the, let's say, societal, economical, business side, management side of digital transformation, where we do research and what I want to present today. Yeah. And so first of all, what is digital transformation? Yeah. It's a term that is used anywhere, everywhere right now. There is no agreed definition of this. Yeah. I tried something. So it's a major change. Yeah. It's not just a technology change. It's a major change where people are involved, where new technologies are involved, organizational patterns are changing, business models, competences are changing, and so on. So it is a much more drastic change than an introduction of a new IT tool or something like this. So we believe that digital transformation, since it is a big step for people, for organizations, and so on, that it has certain characteristics that make it difficult to manage. Yeah? So managing something that you know is quite easy. Managing something that you don't know is much more difficult, and therefore the approaches for doing this still need to be developed. The driving factor behind this complexity or behind this problem is the so-called VUCA world. I will next slide talk about the Barney world. So VUCA world is already 15 years old, but still maybe interesting to understand. So if you are talking about digital transformation, then we are going into something unknown. Yeah? Since it is a big step forward that is changing a lot, we go into uncertainty. Yeah? And VUCA stands as an abbreviation for the new world is volatile. So we cannot even say, if we are setting a goal when we are starting a project, we cannot say, okay, this will be the goal in 2-3 years when we finish the project, because the goals will change. Yeah? Where we go will change while we are walking. And there's a complexity behind it. So there's, we just learned about multi-causality, multi-influence factors, and so on. So this is all in digital transformation. Yeah? There are so many influencing factors that the complexity makes it difficult to describe before doing a project what you want to do. Yeah? Another thing is the uncertainty. You don't know a lot of things. Yeah? If you are talking about education, for example, Astana IT University tries to educate people, but the jobs that the people will work in 10, 15 years, 80% of them don't exist yet. Yeah? So we are moving into uncertainty. Yeah? And then we have ambiguity. If you're going into something new, then the terminology, how we are describing things, the models that we are using for describing some things, they are not fixed, they're not known by everybody. If people are talking about things, they misunderstand each other because many things are so new that they're also ambiguous, and it's very difficult to express how they are. The concept of the Barney world tries to derive from these VUCA factors direct issues that you as a person have with this. Yeah? So the volatility means that you perceive the world as brittle. You cannot rely on anything. Things are that you believed in are falling apart within a short time. Yeah? So people have to deal with a situation where they are living in a brittle environment where they cannot stand solidly on. Then uncertainty leads to anxiousness. Yeah? So you're anxious because you don't know what will happen. There's different alternatives. You cannot judge what happens. So anxiety is the outcoming result. The complexity is also underpinned by the perception of non-linearity. You cannot plan like going step by step forward and reaching a goal, because at a certain point something is completely different and you have to change the direction pretty much, or you have to walk back or something like this. So people like to see in advance where they are going, and this is not given anymore in the digital transformation. And the ambiguity leads to a problem with comprehending what you should do or what you are talking about. So all these problems are typical problems of the digital transformation. You cannot change this, so that's part of the game. We are dealing with project management. And in project management, a project manager learns before starting the project, you should know exactly what the project should do. Yeah? In an uncertain, brittle environment, you by definition don't know this. Yeah? You have to have a commitment and an agreement of everybody that they will do this project. Yeah? You need to have the right resources. You need to have a plan, a schedule for the upcoming weeks and months. If everything is ambiguous and unknown, you cannot have this. You cannot plan in reality. Yeah? All the things that you are training a project manager to ask in advance of a project, these things cannot be answered in a digital transformation project. So we thought, okay, if we want to reshape education in this field, and if we want to find out how to do, then it's a topic for a research project. And one of the projects that we are doing, it's called PRODIT, Projects for the Digital Transformation. And there we have asked ourselves some questions that we believe are important for dealing with digital transformation projects. So the consortium is some European universities. You see on the right side there, that is apart from my university, Technical University in Trondheim, University of the Basque Country, Technical University of Kaunas in Lithuania, and the KU Leuven in Belgium. So we are forming a university consortium, and then we have a number of, let's say, company partners and multipliers, including IEEE, but the TEMS Society, IPMA, it's also known here in Kazakhstan, is a member in the project. Some companies which are mainly in the field of IT. And we tried to understand what we need to do. And what I would like to look today into is what do organizations need to do to be prepared for the digital transformation. So one core question is, if you are talking about digital transformation projects, and people say, ah, yeah, IT projects, we know IT projects, they are failing quite often, yeah, but we know this. But IT projects are not the same as digital transformation projects. As an interesting fact, in a I think McKinsey survey, 80% of the companies were saying that they are dealing with digital transformation projects, and they predict that their success rate is at 20%. Yeah, so 80% of their digital transformation projects are failing. 20% of the companies still don't deal with this. So it's more dramatic than with IT projects. Yeah? And an IT project, the goal is usually to take something that exists, a business process that exists, or some organization process, and to automate it by using IT. Yeah. So you know where you want to go. You have maybe new technology, you have also changes, but you have less VUCA, less BANI, more certainty. And then it means that you can start to plan, that you need to be flexible while doing the project because there is some risks, some unknowns, but it is maybe 80% is known, 20% is not known. And therefore, this management methodology of project management, change management works for these projects. In digital transformation projects, it's the other way around. Yeah? You want to leap into a new future, and the main challenges, these uncertainties, volatilities, ambiguous situations, and so on, this is dominating your project. You know less than you know. Yeah? So maybe 20% is foreseeable what you want to do. So you have maybe a rough goal, but 80% is not known. Yeah? And therefore, you have a much bigger challenge to have flexibility in the project management, to have learning in the project management, because many of the things that you will do in the project, you don't know yet. Many of the competences that the team would need, they don't have yet by definition. Yeah? Usually, if you do projects, you select team members which have the competences for the project, but the competences that you need for a digital transformation project don't exist yet. And this means that existing project management methodologies fail. Yeah? The core assumptions behind existing project management methodology is not valid, or not to a large extent not valid in digital transformation projects. One thing that we wanted to investigate is how can we use maturity models in managing digital transformation projects. And the core assumption is that we have maybe still an as-is situation when we are starting the project. We are starting out of a situation which is an as-is situation, and we want to move to a to-be situation. The challenge with digital transformation is that we don't know much about the to-be situation. We know something about the as-is situation, but we don't know much about the to-be situation. And we want to do a number of projects to facilitate this transformation. It's called the Digital Transformation Journey, and this is facilitated by doing projects. And also the project itself is digitally transformed. And oh, that was too far. One moment. And if you look at maturity models, which are well known in organizational development, well known in IT management, and so on, if you look at maturity models describe different levels of advancement in a process. Yeah. So you have the basic level is when you are starting with a process, with a transformation process, and the upper levels are describing steps to go to a so-called higher maturity level. This is an example of CMMI, a very well-known process management maturity model. And what you can see there, this maturity model, this maturity levels here, they are describing, for example, the as-is situation, and you can also select a higher maturity level, which describes a to-be situation. Yeah. So what we believe is that the maturity model will help you to analyze where you are, the as-is situation, and that it also helps you to determine or to plan what could be a to-be situation. And in digital transformation, meanwhile, we analyzed in a literature review, meanwhile, something between 60 or 80 relevant maturity models exist. For Industry 4.0, for robotics, for AI, and so on, a lot of these models exist. And we were investigating how to use them for project planning. Yeah? And I will not explain everything. I want to cut it short. So we have developed this model where we say, first step, you analyze what type of digital transformation do you have? Do you want to transform an organization? Do you want to transform the capabilities of an organization? Do you have a technology change? Do you want to have a new business model? So this is different types of digital transformation. And based on the type of digital transformation that you are dealing with, you can select a digital transformation maturity model, a DTMM, fitting to the type of digital transformation. And if you have such a maturity model, you can start with this maturity model to analyze your as-is situation. You can assess where you are. And from this, you can derive valuable artifacts for project planning. So you know which capabilities exist in the organization and so on. You see the deficits in the digital transformation and so on. And then you can also assess or plan a to-be situation. That will be a scenario. We recommend scenario techniques for this. And it will help you to define what is the goal of your project, what are objectives and so on. Relevant artifacts, again, for project management. And you can also derive the digital transformation path because you have maturity models in levels in between. And the maturity levels can be like the stages or milestones in your project, and you can derive it from this. And if you have these elements, if you have where you are, if you have the objectives where you want to go, if you have the intermediate steps, so the process or path of digital transformation, then you can start to select the project design and the project management methodology. So that was a very brief overview about what we are doing there. So there's, of course, research, also publications behind this. I would like to summarize a bit. So how to manage digital transformation with digital maturity models, digital transformation maturity models. First of all, you understand the digital transformation as a journey, as a potential path into the future. And then you can see that digital transformation maturity models, they are sketching standardized transformation paths. So amongst all the paths that you can go on your journey, they describe possible ones. Yeah? And you can select a possible one, and they fit into the type of digital transformation that you want to do. And then it gives you an abstracted and staged process for the transition from the as-is to the to-be situation, meaning you can use this to derive phases and steps in your project out of this. And it means you can use it to assess where the project starts, where it should reach, which phases, milestones it has, and how the milestones can be checked. And this methodology we are testing in our project with the companies. We are testing it also with students in lectures and so on. And we hope that we can give a contribution to the management of digital transformation projects by this research. So thank you very much. I hope that I didn't exceed the time. Thank you very much for the attention. And if there's questions, I'm open later on. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Carlson. We're always glad to see you at our university. Our next speaker is Michael Hinchy, PhD, professor at IEEE Region 8 Director, and at LIRO, the Science Foundation Ireland's Research Centre for Software, University of Limerick, Ireland. He will be delivering a presentation on the topic, is there anything that isn't software?
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I think it's afternoon. I apologize for arriving late. I was planning to arrive yesterday morning, and unfortunately, Turkish Airlines thought I should spend an extra day in Istanbul, a beautiful city, but I was much more keen to get to Astana. and to visit Kazakhstan for the first time, and to join you for this IEEE conference, and to congratulate you at the university for your 5-year anniversary. Congratulations on your achievements. I'd like to remind you that IEEE is the largest technical professional society in the world. We're about to hit 500,000 members, which is phenomenal. It's also celebrating its 140th anniversary. People tend to forget that engineering goes that far back. And actually, these are the wrong slides. So apologies for that. But I remind you that IEEE stretches all around the world. I am the director-elect for Region 8. Region 8 is Europe, Middle East, and Africa. The regions 1 to 6 are the US, and regions 1 and 2 will be merging. Region 7 is Canada. Region 9 is South America. Region 10 is Asia Pacific, which will be splitting into 2. And then Region 8 will be by far the largest region in IEEE. Within that region, we have 59 sections, which are mostly broken down by country, but not exclusively. So, for example, UK and Ireland are together. Belgium and Luxembourg and the Netherlands are together. Some countries are large enough that we have to have sections or subsections within them. But the IEEE is your professional home. IEEE is there to support you in all sorts of ways. I've been a volunteer for over 30 years, and all of my friends that I've made through attending IEEE events, from collaborating with people, it's absolutely fantastic the amount of engagement that I've had, how many really good friends I've met that I meet regularly when I come to events like this. It's really, really important. But you also have to remember the opportunities for collaboration, for continuing your education, for staying up to date with everything that you're doing in your work, in technology. We already heard about digital transformation and how fraught that is. And it will continue to be fraught if we don't build capability models, as we heard about, but also continue to ensure our own capabilities, our own learning, our own continuing professional engagement. And that professionalism is absolutely essential. We are engineers. We have a role to play in engineering. This is a computer built back in 1949. It actually first ran on the 9th of May, 1949. It's called EDSAC, so it ran 75 years ago, almost to the day. You can see that it had 650 instructions per second, 1024-bit words, 3,000 valves, took up a room of 5 meters by 4 meters, and needed about 4 times that space for ventilation. 2 years later, in 1951, the British government conducted a survey, and they decided that they would only ever need 3 of these machines. Nobody thought of using computers for business. The first use of a computer in business was in 1952, and we're planning an IEEE milestone to recognize that. And it was by the Lyons Tea Company, who were importing tea from India and what was then Ceylon. And they decided to use a computer for managing their inventory. This became a huge change in how we were to use computers. That brought in the idea of using it in business, of using it in banking, in using it in smart cities, and all sorts of other areas. Many people think that the first computer was built by Charles Babbage. You've probably heard of him. In fact, he set out to solve a very, very specific problem. He didn't set out to build a computer per se. He set out to solve a very specific problem, which is this, that the logarithmic tables used in the shipping industry were notoriously wrong. Here you can see a correction in 1832 and a correction of the correction in 1833 and a correction of the correction of the correction 3 years later. So these tables were so bad, cargo was lost, lives were lost, ships were lost at sea. So he had the idea of being able to compute this mechanically. He even had an idea of how he could print these tables so that they would be accurate. And we recognize a lady who was a very educated lady at the time, which was particularly unusual. She was the daughter of Lord Byron. She married Lord King, who became the Earl of Lovelace. So we know her as Ada Lovelace. And she, many people claim, is the first computer programmer. A friend of mine who's a computing historian says she was the second, that Babbage wrote the first programs. But she certainly developed a lot of the techniques for how we wrote programs, because she had the vision that Babbage's machine could do an awful lot more than just print logarithmic tables. So she was a great innovator in what we now call computing. She had these insights and these ideas. Unfortunately, she was only 31 years old when she died, but she contributed much, and she's a great model to young women in particular, to young girls who want to study STEM and want to be able to continue on and do such great things. So please do engage with your colleagues. Please use opportunities like events like this to get to know people. Please join us in IEEE. If you're not already a member, consider becoming a member, a student member if you're still a student. There are benefits, there are events. There are events like this, but there are also smaller local events where you can meet your friends, have a pizza, get together, talk about technology, talk about your interests, and build up your professional network so that in the future, IEEE will be your professional home and the basis of all your professional work. And so please do consider Kazakhstan could start a section or a subsection, continue to build chapters, student branches, and build up the recognition of IEEE in the country, but get the benefits of IEEE membership for all of you. Thank you very much indeed. Again, it's a wonderful pleasure to be with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please join us in giving a warm welcome to our next speaker, Bogdan Haidabrus, Associate Professor at Riga Technical University, who will be delivering a presentation on the topic Generative AI in Agile, Project and Delivery Management.
Okay, good afternoon, or it's still morning or afternoon. So, yeah, thank you so much for inviting, for having me here. Yeah, so my name is Bogdan. I'm so happy to be here. Yeah, not because just I have a lot of people, great colleagues from many different countries here. Yeah, also we have great colleagues from IT university staff, students, etc. So thank you so much. And obviously, this is my first time in Astana. Yeah, and enjoying. It's a beautiful country, Kazakhstan. Yeah. So yeah, thanks. So today my talk will be around about implementing generative AI in different frameworks, in project, agile ways of working, delivery management, etc. Yeah, and today I'm covering two hats here. So from one hand, I'm representing Riga Technical University, Latvia. From another hand, I'm full-time employee of IT consultancy Accenture. It's the biggest consultancy around the world. Yeah. As you can see, Accenture Baltics filial operates in Riga and Latvia and Lithuania. So we have across the world, we have more than 700,000 employees, and we have more than 120 projects and clients across all the world. Yeah. So we have a lot of stuff to do, and across of the program management and implementing modern tools and techniques. Yeah. So what do we have for today? So my role, daily basis, I am as a project and program manager for different clients, and I'm so happy to be here because by giving this talk, I'm actually will present more industrial examples of implementation, everything what our respectful speakers covered this morning. Yeah. So, for example, you've heard a lot of the technical stuff about LLM, about Gen AI stuff, etc. From one hand, from another hand, Mr. Speaker from Dortmund presented about digital transformation, CMMI, etc. Yeah, and actually my previous project was digital transformation. It was UK client. I've been working for 2 years there. So what I'm gonna to cover today. So first of all, we need to understand the problem what we are trying to resolve. Yeah. More than 10 years I'm in the project management industry, and now first of all we need to understand what problem do we solve. Yeah, so the main topic is that we not run and we do not manage in project just because to manage the projects. Yeah, we do manage project management to help organization to resolve their problems. Yeah, it might be digital transformation. Yeah, it might be something different, achieving values for the client. So, and given the frameworks what we're implementing, there are a lot of opportunities became to automate daily basis activities for project manager, for agile team members, as a product owner, scrum master, etc. Yeah. So today I will present few case study what we are implementing. So as you can see here, as we are managing a huge projects, yeah, we need to ensure that we are scaling our teams and we are scaling our deliverables. Yeah. In terms of the ways of working, you probably have heard about agile ways of working as a way one of the way how we can deliver project. Yeah. From one hand, we can have project management daily basis activity. From another hand, it can be agile ways of working. So we are managing teams and deliverables by incremental iterative approach. Scrum, Kanban, extreme programming, etc. But to make possible to scale when we have huge projects, yeah, when we have, for example, just in case we have more than 100 people working at the same solution, yeah, those people distributed across the Europe, across the world even. So just running Scrum, it's not possible. So one of the framework which helps to resolve this problem is Scaled Agile framework. Yeah, I believe some of you have heard about that. And here you can see some of the examples of SAFe, which helps to build agility across the organizations. Yeah, and here you can see the key statements on SAFe. It's combines Scrum, Kanban ways of working, DevOps practices, built-in quality practices, CI/CD, etc., etc. And now daily basis activities gives us opportunity that all the people, all the business stakeholders need to proceed with the decomposition, the work, create epics, features, user stories, communicate with different stakeholders, etc. So, and now we see that the generative AI tools can definitely support with that. Yeah. So our idea is to implement Gen AI, ChatGPT. Yeah, for example, I'm not gonna to cover all the details. Yeah, I just will show from the business side. So, as you can see, between the high-level planning, when we have feature and user story level planning and refinement, across the managing stakeholder activities in agile release train, you can see from the right-hand side, yeah? And across to the daily basis delivery ways of working, we can implement generative AI tools, how they help to automate those routine activities by the respectful team members, yeah? So, as you can see here, daily basis, if we as I already said, yeah, that the key stakeholders should resolve the business problems, yeah, and daily basis, even before the delivery and during the delivery, we need to ensure that we understand the business context and we maximizing the value every day. So to do that, there are many different tools and techniques might be implemented for achieving and maximizing value. For example, solutioning workshops, problem solving statements, and so on and so forth. Yeah, and these activities are the daily basis activities from the product owners, key stakeholders, business owners, solution architects, etc. Yeah, and now actually we have started trying implementing ChatGPT 3.54 and new version been released a few days ago, which helps those people to understand business needs much more better and implement Gen AI stuff in their daily basis activities. Yeah, as you can see here. Let's move on. Yeah, so what is the research task? First of all, as you can see here, yeah, so first of all, we need to ensure that the company implement agile ways of working. I believe that majority of you have heard about that. Yeah, everyone understand that, but to get into agile ways of working, it's quite difficult. Yeah, this covers a lot of organizational changes. So this is the first issue what we have. The second issue, just to ensure that we are maximizing value, we can implement Gen AI tools to support key stakeholders with the enhancing agile ways of working and support delivery management process. The next step, we need to measure how efficiency we have implemented this approach. Yeah, so obviously, I had the pleasure on December to visit Almaty, and I've been invited to conference there. I have presented about the metrics, what do we use in agile ways of work and how to improve our efficiency through the metrics. And when we're implementing Gen AI stuff, we need to ensure that we are tracking these metrics and we have an opportunity to combine these metrics between different solutions. Yeah, cumulative flow diagrams, different charts, CFD, etc. Yeah, as you can see here, control charts, and obviously we can enhance delivery management by Gen AI stuff. Yeah, so let's move on. So here you can see the high level of the framework and how we can maximize the value. Yeah. So as you can see from the top left side, yeah, the implementation of SAFe consists of program increment plannings, and after the program increment plannings, we are starting with the daily basis Scrum ways of working and delivering stuff. Here you can see the framework itself consists of the epic, feature, user story, level, and mapping, refining the team backlog, create the product backlog, iteration backlog, daily basis Scrum ways of working, deliver increment, and after that collect the feedback. Yeah. So, and as you can see from the right top, we see the team members who's fully involved in daily basis operational activity. Yeah. So every day, those internal stakeholders as a Scrum Master, product owner, development team members, so they are making every day a lot of decisions. Yeah. Across the maximizing value. To support that, we propose to implement ChatGPT, which helps to these key stakeholders for each of the phase of our delivery process. Yeah, as you can see here, to understand, to finalize the backlog based on the solution what we need to build. So we use Gen AI ChatGPT, which helps us to understand what we need to deliver. Yeah, to ensure that we have our PI objectives identified, sprint goals stated, etc. Ensure that they are relevant to the business side. We use GenAI tools as well. The next step, to refine backlog, epic level backlog, feature level backlog, user story backlog. We use GenAI tool to help us prioritize to ensure that we are maximizing value. Daily basis delivery process to ensure that we are collecting relevant feedback through the daily basis activities and deliver the valuable increment. So what do we see by that? We see that on the almost each step of implementing agile ways of working and Scrum framework, we can use GenAI tools which helps and support maximizing value what we have. Let's move on. So this is a case study what we've done. So we have analyzed the process of the daily basis deliverables, what we do across the team. Yeah, I'm not gonna go to the details. Yeah, but just here you can see that we have steps of our daily basis deliverables, what we need to do, what is in progress, what is the under refinement stage, what is under the in progress, front-end development, back-end development, obviously it depends on the ways of working, what team is implemented, etc. And to ensure that we are building in quality, this was one of the principles of agile ways of working. We need to ensure that we always aware and we always meet definition of ready and definition of done. What does it mean? We are ready to implement the solution, to implement the user story feature. And what does it mean that it's done? So, and to support that, GenAI tools definitely here to support us. We have developed a workflow of each backlog item. Mostly it's relevant for feature level backlog item and user story backlog item. Yeah, here you can see the workflow. Yeah, and based on the workflow, each step when we need to make a decision, you see those cycles. Yeah, so when during each step we need to find the right decision, how to proceed with. Yeah, and obviously GenAI tool, in this case it was just GPT-4, here to support us how to make a right decision with the given context. Yeah, so this was just a not so huge case study, but it shows us a lot of opportunities how we can move on and go further. So here I have provided to you the evidences of what we are doing. Yeah, so we can't manage if we can't measure. Yeah, so the first step, we need to measure everything what we are doing. So this is from one of my last projects, actually, regarding the digital transformation project. We are collecting these metrics. Yeah, so as you can see here, average time, cycle time, lead time. Yeah, close backlog items, sprint committed versus completed, sprint predictability, etc. So obviously, I'm not gonna cover all the details, but just this is an example how we can track our progress. So collecting metrics, different metrics. Yeah, it's another talk for 1 hour. By collecting metrics and by comparing metrics before GenAI implemented and after GenAI implemented, it shows us how we are progressing with the implementation GenAI tool in daily basis, operational activity and delivery. Yeah, so to ensure that we are maximizing value. Yeah, so this is just an example. Yeah, and as a conclusion, yeah, so daily basis in our delivery process, we see that there are a lot of improvements might be, and there are a lot of opportunities to use different GenAI tools to support and to maximize value what we achieving for our clients. Yeah. So we are just doing the first steps in my current project, but I believe that by small steps we will achieve the huge results. Yeah, and the conclusions you can see here. I believe that's it. So thank you so much for attention, and I'm happy to cover all the questions and topics to discuss. Yeah, after my talk. Yeah, thank you so much.
So thank you, Mr. Bogdan, for your interesting presentation. Let's move on. Allow me to introduce our speaker, Orken Mamarbayev, PhD, Associate Professor and Deputy Director at the Institute of Information and Computational Technologies in Almaty, Kazakhstan. He will be presenting the topic, Method of Speech Recognition in the Kazakh Language.
Добрый день, дорогие коллеги. Мы работаем, наша лаборатория занимается распознаванием речи. Я хочу рассказать сегодня, как мы дошли до определенной системы и как мы разрабатывали нужные модели. Что такое распознавание речи? Вы знаете, есть звуковой сигнал, мы преобразуем его на текстовые данные. Как раз вот распознавание речи описано с этой формулой. Ну, речевые технологии сейчас применяются в разных сферах. Это медицинских аппаратных частях, автомобилей и других сферах. Но вы знаете, у нас государственный язык, казахский язык, он является агглютивным языком, еще туркоязычный язык, и входит он малоресурсных языков. Из этого нам надо было создать сперва корпус казахской речи. Для этого нужно было очень большие ресурсы. Мы должны были собирать и размечивать, и потом обучать. И когда в исследованиях у нас появилось много проблем, связанных с языком. Первая проблема, с какой качеством мы должны были распознавать речь? Слогами, фонемами или словами. В таком проблеме у нас возник проблемы. Первое, по слогами у нас не было изучено закон сингармонизма нашего языка. И первый вопрос отпадал. Второй момент, нам нужно было до точности распознавать до фонемы. Когда пришло фонема, у нас не было rich текст называется, фонетически богатый текст. Из этого пришлось создать вот фонетически богатый текст. Но все равно качество распознавания было очень низким. И что пришлось? Мы изучали и взяли международный опыт. Все распознавали символами и словами. И метрика у нас определилась. Дальше мы должны были создать. Но первоначально, когда система распознавания речи состояла из разных модулей, вы видите 3 модуля, и каждый модуль работал отдельно. Из этого система работала неэффективно. А чтобы поднять ее эффективность, нужна была новые технологии. Но до этого времени использовался всегда скрытый марковский модель. А для создания системы для казахского языка нужны были корпуса. Для этого наша лаборатория собирала данных из разных источников. Первое, это из СМИ мы собирали информацию. Второе, мы записывали на кабинах дикторами информацию разного вида. Третье, мы в электронных книгах собирали. Из этого у нас получилось около 2000 часов речевых данных, а сейчас у нас 10 тысяч часов речевых данных. И во время сбора данных нам нужно было решать несколько задач. Задача первая – это идентификация диктора. Второе – диктор мужчина или женщина, возраст и на каком языке он говорит. Еще задачу диаризации. что такое диаризация? Когда несколько спикеров в одно время говорит, у них бывает смешанность языка. Из этого надо было разделить голоса. Это и есть задача. Чтобы решить задачу, мы построили, разметили наши данные. Разметка данных, вот видите, по регионам мы распределили, женщины или мужчины и их возраст. Вот это нам дало большое преимущество решить данные задачи. Теперь с появлением высокопроизводительных технологий и развитием нейронных сетей мы могли разработать end-to-end модель. С end-to-end моделью мы разработали 4 вида моделей, которые были опубликованы в разных журналах и конференциях. Первое – CTC, второе – Annotation-Based модель, RNNT и CRF. После разработки данной модели мы разработали первое приложение социальной сети. Сейчас в конце я покажу. Следующее. После этих моделей мы разработали для казахского языка модель трансформер. Модель трансформер была опубликована в журнале Nature Scientific Reports, наша модель. Здесь мы сравнили уже существующие модели, связанные с нашим языком. Первое, вы видите наши труды, но здесь размер корпуса 76 часов. Это первая модель, которую мы разработали. Второе, мы обучали, видите, без языкового модели и качества их распознавания. Самый хороший результат нам показал ResNet. Следующая группа разработала таким образом, что они дополнительно обучили ресурсам русского языка и улучшили качество. Вы видите, группа Амиргалиева. Потом Назарбаев университет создал свои 300 часов первые данные, из этого создали трансформер. Это тоже показало очень лучший результат. Дальше мы еще исследовали, разрабатывали до 2000 часов и получили свою эффективную модель. Вы видите. Вот время обучения, как обучался. Дальше у нас был интерес таков. Наш язык малоресурсный язык. Как мы можем поднять уровень распознавания, ну, модель, качество модели? Как раз казахский язык входит в группу туркоязычных языков. Они схожи на киргизский, узбекский, азербайджанский, турецкий языки. И поэтому, если мы их обучим еще дополнительным корпусом, тогда мы можем улучшить качество. Правильно? Вот видите, казахским языком совпадают некоторые слова азербайджанским языком. Тогда мы с группой АДА университет с Азербайджаном объединились и вели исследования, обучая с помощью трансферной модели. И оказывается, наша модель, обучение показывает очень хорошую эффективность. Вот видите, обученные трансферным моделям, вы видите английский, персидский языки, качество вот. А мы обучили казахский, азербайджанский, и качество как поднялось. Вот таким образом мы обучили и ушли дальше киргизский язык, узбекский язык. Вот таким образом мы улучшали качество нашей модели. Ну, это азербайджанским языком. Теперь я хочу рассказать, наши модели, это исследователи, которые получили. Теперь вот эти модели мы хотели применить нашим уже приложением. Я хочу показать пример. Первая модель, которую мы разработали через HMM, был мультимодальной системой. Он читал командные слова, можно было управлять робота, но дополнительно читал lip detection, обнаружение губы. С этим он, где шум, он вставлял визиму и улучшал качество распознавания. Это первое наше приложение, которое мы построили. Дальше мы построили телебот. В телеботе мы использовали следующую модель CTC. Здесь у нас 15 тысяч пользователей, которые пользуются с нашим телеботом. Система работает сейчас в социальной сети. Когда мы выпустили наш телебот, нам обратился компания Philips и сказала, у нас есть оборудование, вы можете туда вложить вашу языковую модель, чтобы распознавать казахский язык. Ну, вот, конечно, мы вместе сработались, как раз идентификация дикторов есть, наш сервер связан с их оборудованием и работает. На сегодняшний день мы как раз и вместе работаем с компанией Philips. Сейчас выходит компания из Таиланда, тоже есть оборудование Philips. Они говорят, вот у нас будет оборудование стоять в середине, и разные люди разговаривать, вы должны распознавать. Здесь задача диаризации, отдельно распознавать. Мы сейчас работаем группой по этой задаче и улучшаем нашу модель. Следующее. Вот видите, как работает система. Следующее. Нам обратился коллеги-журналисты. Вот видите, журналисты всегда с собой хранят файлы. MP3, MP4, WAV-файл, разного вида диктофонов. Они хотели, чтобы мы могли распознавать. Вот видите, музыку, мы включили музыку, он распознавал, вывел текст. Мы можем ее сохранить в текстовом формате, в wordовом формате, и можно дорожкой выделять нужный текст, чтобы он не убегал. Человек проверяет текст, набирает и видит, вот текст есть, дальше работает. Это облегчает вдвойне. Вот видите, на вордовском варианте скидывать можно. Это в открытом доступе у нас работает. Все журналисты сейчас пользуются нашей моделью. Следующее. Вот видите, как он работает. Следующее. Нам вышло два организации. Это Министерство обороны и потом Верховный суд. У них есть система стенографирования. Там есть микрофоны, там есть каналы. Вы видите, мы можем из файла взять еще с микрофона, реал-тайм режиме, который работает. Мы загружаем, и вот видите файл, и он делит на каналы. Сперва каждое слово, которое разговаривает, отдельной репликой, тональностью. Второе, мы видим, с какого канала поступают данные, из микрофона или с двухканального. Потом третье, мы делаем диаризацию и идентификацию. Третья вкладка сейчас откроется. Здесь задача. Вот текст, видите еще? Вот он, вы можете почитать, текст идет, речи, вот двигается. И можем двигать и распознать. Следующее, вы видите идентификацию, диаризацию, он отдельно распознавал все тексты. Вот видите. Вот в таком варианте мы сейчас работаем, но у нас, когда мы международные компании выходим, от нас всегда требуют, если патент у вас, если сертификаты, мы получили патент на изобретение, через него уже мы выходим на разные организации. Вот таким образом мы работаем по одной направлении распознавания речи. У нас есть еще дополнительно две направления. Это обработка медицинских изображений. Вы знаете, мы работаем институтом глазных болезней, там есть патология глаукома. По этой части мы уже реализовали аппаратную часть, теперь делаем экспертную часть. Вот, спасибо большое. Вот вкратце то, что мы сделали. Рахмет сіздерге.
Thank you, Mr. Oken, for your presentation. So our next speaker is Kartik Dirasari, an expert in Google Cloud from India. Your presence is highly appreciated.
So hello, hi everybody. I think it's afternoon, so good afternoon to everybody. I'm Kartik Dirasari. Building multimodal experiences using GenAI, Gemini, and Google Cloud is something that I'll be talking about today. First of all, I would like to give huge thanks to the organizers, Astana IT University, the IEEE organizers, and the GDG team for inviting me here. For me, it's the second time in Kazakhstan and first time in Astana. So really happy to be here and meet everybody. Salim, Astana. So yeah, this is something that I learned recently. What I do, who I am. So I'm Kartik. I work as a lead software engineer, solutions engineer at Persistent, which is one of the cloud consulting companies, which is a Google Cloud Premium Partner. And I am recognized as a Google Developer Expert for Google Cloud, Champion Innovator. I have a few certifications on Google Cloud. So GenAI and cloud is something that I work on a daily basis. Apart from that, very happy to be here at this IEEE conference because I've been an IEEE member since my university days. I've been student branch chair. I've worked at the IEEE India section, art and region, been a collaborative ambassador and so on. So very happy to be here as a volunteer as well. And yes, as I mentioned, I'll be talking a little more on the business use cases today, but if you see Google has been innovating since a lot of years, almost like a decade. These innovations started from the transformer architecture that they released back in 2017. And if you see, they have been launching different models, be it BERT, Lambda, recently they launched Palm, Gemini, Gemini Pro, Ultra, and so on. How many of you have seen Google I/O? So Google I/O was one of the conference, like the annual developer conference, which happened just yesterday night. So I was watching that yesterday late night, and I got a little late early today. So yeah, we have been doing a lot of innovations in the AI field, and now the conversations with customers have started from it started from predictive AI, then a lot of conversations came to generative AI, and now it's more about how businesses can build applications using multimodal generative AI. And with this, there are also a lot of questions on how customers can build applications using RAG framework, how they can do function calling, how they can ground their responses, because implementing AI for a business is cool, but it's also risky. And one of the surveys that McKinsey and Google recently conducted, so 96% of the CXOs think that Gen AI is going to be very critical to the success of their organization. So that's why there's also a lot of budget being allocated for Gen AI projects during their digital transformation journeys as well. So that's why a lot of businesses are looking at what are the use cases that they can have for their industry and to solve using Gen AI. And again, the question arises that how Gen AI is going to help me in my business. Is it going to make my employees better, happier? Is it going to make my processes faster and better? Is it going to reduce the cost of my business processes? So, there are a lot of questions across different industries. And what we think is that Gen AI, it's not a hype anymore, but it is since the adoption is quite high. We believe that Gen AI can be a good fit across different industries, across different departments as well, be it finance, accounts, be it supply chain, engineering, productivity, and so on. Now, when we talk about industries, I can bring like a name and a logo and exact details of what we are building, how we are building, for whom we are building due to NDA purposes, but I'll be talking more about what we are doing for them. So if we see the retail and CPG category, we work with a lot of retail customers. So I majorly focus on the US sector for pre-sales, delivery for Gen AI and Google Cloud. And there are a lot of business processes that are very manual right now, be it creating the product descriptions, be it reading the user reviews. So we have a lot of use cases starting from making uniform product descriptions across, let's say 5 million products, right? So that is how your search can be more better, because let's say now having a really good search is more of an essential now. One of the customer segment or the customer persona, let's say those are people who do a lot of gym. And now with a lot of innovative products, we have seen search queries like high protein, low fat, gluten free chips. Now if you see, this is going to be a fairly complex query. So using like embeddings, we can create like a really good search engine on top of the products, but it has to have really good product descriptions. So generating product descriptions was one of the use case. Second is that, let's say, product discovery is going to be the second use case, how you can build like a really good search engine on top of your product descriptions, not only using text, but also using the images and videos now. Then comes that, let's say the product is sold, but how we can sell more products. So let's say if you I don't cook much, but I tried a lot, but most of the time I struggle finding the right ingredients in my kitchen. So, and I'm sure, those people who cook has to go through that, let's say if I'm making pasta tonight, that then, what are going to be all the right ingredients that I need to have. Then you need to do 5 or 6 different queries on the e-commerce platform, then add those products to the cart. But using GenAI, we build like a system for one of the customers that, let's say, if you want to make pasta tonight, it tries to get the recipe and the ingredients from the large language models. It tries to correlate with the products that the company is selling, and using just one click, instead of one product, we are selling 10 different products at the same time. So it really helps the customer upsell to their end customers. And, they also really like to cross sell, because, they can suggest that, let's say if you're having pasta tonight, then a lot of people have this XYZ wines with this. So good to have these as well. So as I mentioned, implementing AI is cool, but it brings a lot of risk as well. So that's where a lot of companies do ROI calculation, and this is where this brings a lot of good ROI when it comes to really good numbers on their business. Let's say once the product is sold, and we have got a lot of good product managers who always look for feedback, right? So if you see, let's say you pull in Amazon.com or any e-commerce, right? There are a lot of product feedbacks. So using GenAI, you can consume all the product feedbacks which are there on the website, and you can build a report using that. What are the good things about packaging of the product, bad things about packaging product, good and bad things about pricing, good and bad things about the quality, and so on. So it not only helps to sell, but it also helps to get the user feedback in a very structured format. And if you see these, all of these use cases, right, these are not really chat applications. These are something beyond chat applications. Right now, everybody is trying to create their own chatbots, and that's good. But think about more in a way that how GenAI can also help in your business processes using function calling, using RAG systems to help your, fasten your business process. When it comes to financial services, we work with a lot of banks, investment bankers, on how you can analyze the financial sec data and 10K filing of companies based out of US to determine investment decisions, to determine acquisition decisions, and so on. On healthcare and life sciences, we work with few largest healthcare companies across the world, where the researchers and scientists who creates drugs and medicines for, let's say, cancer and diabetes, they spend a lot of time on creating documents for FDA approvals, and it takes like 6 to 8 months sometimes. So we are trying to make a content curation plus enhancement platform for them, using which this 6 months or 8 months of process can be reduced to almost like a month. And when you think about from a business perspective, it really helps because this system's gonna save like 6 months of 100 researchers' salary. Plus, this is also going to give back 6 months of time to these researchers to spend more time on research. Then we also work on protocol and report generation for medical devices. So all the medical hardware that you see in the hospitals, they go through a lot of testing and processing. And it has to have a lot of documents in place, textual and tabular format of documents in place before it is being released to the hospitals. And this is where we helped to reduce the time from almost like 5 weeks to almost like 2 days. So this really helps in the healthcare sector when it comes to report generation or mostly on the content search. On the media and entertainment side, we work with a few media companies on how you can. So let's say we have got a lot of physical newspapers back, back in the olden days, but there's not a really good search engine on how you can search on your past, let's say newspapers from 1920 or 50 and so on. So we create more like a multi-modal Gen AI based search engine, which takes in all of the data of the newspaper companies and builds more like a search plus chat experience for the end customers to do research and discovery on that. When it comes to manufacturing, communication service provider, we have a lot of use cases focusing more on the supply chain side, mostly on the project management side. I think the past speakers did cover a few good examples. So that's something that we do. And how or where should you start ideally is, these are some of the very safe use cases. Even when we implement AI for customers, we have to think from a responsible AI perspective. So these are some really good safe use cases. First is like research and information discovery, be it product discovery. So build more like a chat on top of your data, search on top of your data. Then there's customer service optimization, be it building chat applications, be it creating customer service workflows, be it let's say if you appear let's say if you purchase a new mobile, or if you're going for your driving test, right? A lot of these products already have the product manuals in textual format, but when something goes wrong, you don't go back to your home and you don't read those product manuals, right? So those are almost waste of that process. But we build more like a multimodal experience for that. So we pull like a search engine on top of their product manuals along with videos as well. So let's say if you're stuck with your car, and if you want to know that how can I do XYZ, you just do a search on top of the company's search engine. It not only gives you like a summarized answer, but it also gives you exact link and time to the video as well, so you can navigate very easily. So I'm sure this might sound very simple to you when we have a lot of good researchers talking about really cool stuff, but when it comes to implementing for a huge customer base, we usually start small, we see adoption, and then we move faster. And what we think about the GenAI stack is that if you see, there are a lot of horizontal use cases, like after foundational, there are going to be a lot of horizontal use case. Let's say customer service chat applications, right? So this is going to be a solution across all different companies, be it retail, CPG, be it healthcare, medical, insurance, and so on. Be it your project management, be it your accounts, finance, be it HR or employee service chat applications. These are very horizontal solutions. When it comes to vertical solutions, we focus more on each sector. Let's say what are going to be some of the really cool use cases of insurance companies, of healthcare companies, of retail and CPG, and that's when we drill down on vertical use cases. So ideally, what we have seen is that most of the companies start with horizontal use cases. Some start with internal only use cases, see how the adoption is, because sometimes implementing it on the external side may go wrong. So that's that, and how you can build like a system. So everybody has access to the foundational models that are already there in the market, but using your own proprietary data, using industry tuned models, you can have GenAI integrated in your product workflows, and that is going to be your competitive advantage across different companies in your sector. Now, how these companies implement these use cases, they mostly start with RAG implementation. Why? Because it's cheaper, it's faster, and it gives right now large language models do not have access to your private data. So that's how you can build applications with your own private data using the RAG architecture. And yeah, they, as I mentioned, they don't have access to the real-time information. And ideally, there are two parts of it: retrieval, augmentation, generation. So it has got a retriever, which retrieves the data from the chunks of the data that you have. Then it ranks those results using like a semantic search on top of your vector database. And then you can augment the responses on however you would like. Yep. So this is how the whole cycle looks like, that you load your documents, be it your structured or unstructured documents, you create chunks out of it. And then once you have those chunks in place, you create vector embeddings out of it. You store it inside a vector store, and then you can build a retriever using which you can rank those results and then pass in those ranked results along with the prompt and get the right answers. Now, this is good because it's cheaper than building your own fine-tuned model. Many of the organizations do not have the AI foundations on their cloud as well. So here they do expose the API, so you don't have to really spend a lot of time. It helps you move faster. But here, one of the challenges is that we have a limitation on the context size, on the context window size. So, oops. Yep. So, this is how the prompts would look like. And when you have huge documents to really have an accurate search, you need to pass in a lot of context because large language models are serverless. So that's when, if you might have seen Google I/O yesterday, Google has launched or extended the LLM context window size to 2 million tokens in Gemini Pro 1.5. So this really enables a lot of customers to quickly get started building GenAI applications and be and have like a competitive advantage across their sector. Now, most of the use cases I mentioned focuses more on having like a chat Q&A feature, having chat applications, and now we are also focusing on agents, on how you can build complex systems using function calling along with RAG, along with your own private database. So that's that. And yes, some of the good benefits are that it can help you with a lot of fresh data as well. So you don't need to worry about that. It's cheaper. It also works with your internal IAM and governance. So finance team only can only see the finance data. Accounts team can only see the accounts data. Engineering team can only see the engineering data, and so on. So it really helps to make AI applications faster. And I think that's that. Yeah, these are some of the courses by Google for like their GenAI journey and resources. And that's it. Thanks for tuning in. I hope I didn't take much time, and thanks.
Thank you so much, Mr. Darasari.
So, dear conference participants, our plenary session has come to an end. Now, according to the program schedule, we have a lunch break, and we will meet you later at the sectional presentations.
Thank you, everyone, for your participation.